Dr. Sean Phelan, and we're here again to talk with you about barefoot running. And today I'd like to go over the different types of foot strike that you would do with barefoot running, avoiding injury when you are running, and also show you some examples of the different types of foot strike done on the trail, all with the idea of trying to avoid injury at this point. We're seeing a lot of plantar fasciitis, metatarsalgia, and Achilles tendonitis in the office these days on people that are just getting into barefoot running, because they're accentuating different types of foot strike a little too early or a little too much, and some of those conditions are very difficult to treat. So we'd like to help you to avoid those. So the first thing I'm going to demonstrate is the heel strike rollover gait that's typical to all walking and running strides. More of a flat foot strike, if you will, and then the forefoot strike that you see accentuated and talked about so much in barefoot running literature now. So we'll go ahead and do that now. So the first stride we'll demonstrate, and the first strike we'll demonstrate, is the traditional or typical heel strike rollover and push off that people do when they are walking and or running in typical shoes. So when we take a step, we will land on the outer edge of the heel, come down, flatten the foot out, roll over the stride, and then push off with that great toe, and that's why it's there, and then move on to the next stride. So heel strike and roll over, heel strikes, push off, roll over, swing through with the next foot, and this is your typical running stride. I'm exaggerating it a little bit. So if this were the person running in barefoot running shoes on a flat surface, it would look more like just a typical stride. You would not see all the components of heel strike, rollover, and push off. The next type of stride, or the next type of strike you'll use on barefoot running will be the more of a flat foot strike, especially on trails and flat surfaces where you're really not striking with the heel anymore. You're really landing almost flat with the foot and then going through push off as you would with the traditional heel strike rollover and push off stride. So what that would look like on a trail or a flat surface would be more of almost a slapping, dropping stride. And that's going to be used on certain surfaces, which we'll talk about a little later. The last type of running and strike, the last type of strike would be the forefoot strike, where we're landing primarily over the metatarsal heads of the feet and pushing off from there without really putting too much weight on the hind foot or the heel. And so that's an important strike in barefoot running, but it's also the one that's causing a lot of injury and a lot of Achilles tendonitis and metatarsalgia. So what this one looks like in running gait is just a very springy, forward moving stride, which helps to drive us forward and help us climb hills. It's a great type of strike, very helpful on the trails, but it's also one that can be dangerous to us if we do too much of it too fast, too soon.